So please give equal importance to theory as well as problems for this particular subject, right? See, I'm going to mute all the participants to avoid the unnecessary disturbances, right? If you have any doubts and if you have anything regarding anything, you please just raise your hand, or just you directly put a small message in the chat box so that I can be able to see and I can answer the question what you raised, right? So please give equal importance to both theory as well as problems in this particular subject. Okay. And after the end of this session, I will circulate a Word document which contains the YouTube links of the previous topics what we have discussed when two groups are merged, right? You please go through the links and you please learn the concepts from the topics what we have studied so far. But please do remember that please maintain a textbook. Okay, so please maintain a textbook which is prescribed. So my sincere suggestion is you need to follow Modern Core System Analysis by Nagrath and Kothari. Okay, that is the textbook you need to follow, and please keep a copy of material what I circulated in the WhatsApp groups, right? Okay. Now we shall move on to the problems. Only there are two problems that are left. Already we have discussed one problem in the last class, but I don't know how many of you have understand that one. But anyway, again I will show you the same problem, and after that we will solve one more problem, which is of different case. And today I am also having one more hour, that is at 12 o'clock. Okay, please try to attend that class also, so that we will able to complete the 50% of chapter number 1 by today itself, and the remaining is topology graph. Okay, that we will discuss later. Now please go through the PowerPoint presentation that I am going to present on the screen here. So now I think my screen is visible to all. Okay. So this is the problem what we have discussed in the last class. Okay, so this is a problem. Please try to attend the sessions at least by 5 minutes before the commencement of the classroom, right? So this is the problem we have solved, and for your sake, I have solved this problem by step by step. Okay, first we are going to choose the proper base values. In this particular case, generator ratings are the base values for the entire session, and the first one is need for having conversions of the ratings of transformer 1 and transformer 2. Why? Because we need to equate the operating voltage of secondary winding of the first transformer and the primary winding of the second transformer. Okay, whenever you are equating these two voltages, obviously that is the operating voltage of the transmission line. So for that purpose, now see here operating voltage of the transmission line. See, basically he has mentioned that. Now you see here 13.8 kV is the new base value, but here the primary winding of the first transformer is 13.2 kV, that too delta side. Okay, so as we are discussing that we need to express all the ratings in terms of a common base values. So that's why in this particular case operating voltage of the transmission line, now you see here, operating voltage of the transmission line is represented with the kV based transmission line. So for 13.2, it is 115 kV, which is produced at the secondary side of the first transformer. And for 13.8, what is the voltage? What is the operating voltage, right? Now you see here. Just go through the lines. For 13.2, it is 115 kV. For 13.2, what is the corresponding voltage which is produced at the output of your transformer 1? That is 120.23 kV. Now, this is the operating voltage that you need to select for the transmission line. That means this has to be equated with the primary winding of the second transformer. So at the second, for as second transformer is concerned, 67, that is made up of with the three single phase transformer. That is the combination of three single phase transformer. That is not the three phase transformer directly. So that's why there is a relation between star and delta connection. So obviously for a three phase, the star connected voltage is given by root 3 into 67. That will gives you 116.05. So frankly speaking, 12.5 kV is the corresponding voltage with respect to that 116.05. But we need to equate that to 120.23. So for 120.23, what is the voltage which is produced at the secondary winding of the secondary transformer? So that is given by 12.96. So for your clear understanding, I have redrawn the original single line diagram by considering new base values like this. Now you please go through this. Now see the transformer voltage levels. So basically 13.8 kV is the operating voltage that we need to choose as a base value. So 13.8 correspondingly it will produce 120.23 kV. Now that is the operating voltage of the transmission line. The secondary side and the second transformer is concerned 120.23 divided by 12.96 kV. So these are the operating voltage levels of the transformers, right? Now for this particular single line diagram, you are supposed to do the per unit calculations. Okay, now you see here. Step by step process of determining the per unit impedances or the reactances. Now you please go through this. First one is generator. Okay, so visually you can imagine that what are the components that have been connected in the given single line diagram. The first section is generator section, second section is transformer section, third one is transmission line section, fourth one is again you will have one more transformer, that is T2, and then the fifth one, that is the load section. Okay, so for generator one, the original the original value is given as 0.15. So obviously indirectly we are considering the generator ratings as the base values for the entire system. Obviously you can directly consider that old per unit as the new per unit value. So 0.15 per unit is as it is. Next one is the transformer T1. So transformer T1, again you will have two methods, but preferably you need to consider the primary voltages. Obviously it will becomes easy. So that is given by 0.1 multiplied by 30 MVA base new divided by MVA base old multiplied by KV base old whole divided by KV base new whole square. So if you consider that one, obviously you will get this 0.078, or you can also consider the secondary winding voltages also. So if you consider that one, again you will get the same, right? Now you see here, next one is transmission line section. Now for the transmission line section, he has mentioned that 80 ohms have been given on the per unit value and etc. The values, the remaining values have not been given. So that's why the actual value of the transmission line is given, that is 80 ohms, and you are asked to determine the per unit value. So once if the actual value is known, per unit value can be obtained by taking the difference between, by taking the ratio between, not the difference, by taking the ratio between actual value by base value. So here the actual value means the actual value of the voltage. So that is 116.047 whole square divided by the base value. So base value of MVA base. So now see here, this is the actual value and the base value. So base value can be obtained by is equal to KV base square or KV base square divided by MVA base. So obviously you will get this one. So XTR per unit is equal to 80 by the value you have obtained as 0.178 per unit. So transformer T2. So transformer T2 is 0.1. That's what already he has given. And 30 by 30 MVA base new is equal to MVA base old. KV base old divided by KV base new whole square, that is equal to 0. So next one is again for the motor section. Similarly, you can also obtain the per unit impedances for motor 1 and motor 2. So once again, I'm going to remind you that whenever you are going to substitute the value of the voltage source in per unit, that means EG1, EG2 or EM1, EM2, whatever it may be, that you need to consider as the formula that actual voltage by base voltage. So actual voltage by base voltage, actual voltage that we are giving, and the base voltage that we have to consider for the entire section. So as far as this particular problem is concerned, EG1 can be considered as 13.8 by 13.8, that is equal to 1 per unit. Similarly, EM1 is equal to 12.5 by 12.96 is equal to 0.965 per unit. Similarly, EM2. So EM1 and EM2 are equal. Now, the problem has not been completed yet. Why? Because directly you are asked to draw the per unit impedance diagram or the reactance diagram for the single line diagram of the three-phase balanced power system. So now you see here. So this is the first section, generator 1. Please don't forget to write this J. J is very, very important. This is reactance. J 0.15 per unit. So reactance means obviously R plus Jx. Please do remember. So if R is neglected means you will have only Jx. So what are the values you have determined? All those are reactances of the component. So that's why the first section J 0.15 and the second one is 0.7. So what are the values you have obtained as a per unit? You can directly substitute in this per unit impedance diagram or the reactance diagram, right? So with this, the problem has been completed. Now we are going to see another case of the same problem. Okay. So till now, we have not considered the load sections. So whenever he has given the load section, obviously in the problem itself, he has mentioned that you can neglect the loads. But now, how the per unit impedance diagram can be obtained by considering the load sections? That is the important point here, right? Now just wait a moment. Okay. Now you see here. So this is the problem. Already I have given you in the last class. So in this single line diagram, you will have generator, transformer 1, transformer 2, motor section, and the load section. See, sometimes we are also considering the motor section as a load section. Motor also can be used as a load, okay, for the entire power system. Now the ratings have been given. So generator rating is 20 MVA, 11 kV, 0.15 per unit. Similarly, 12.5 kV by 132 kV. And now if you clearly observe this, point, so in this case, the ratings are equal. You need not convert or you need not change the ratings of these two transformers. Why? Because our intention is we need to equate the secondary voltage of the first transformer is equal to the primary winding voltage of the secondary transformer. Then only whenever these two voltages are equal means obviously that is the operating voltage of a transmission line. Operating voltage of the transmission line. That is the only point you need to remember. Okay. Right. So here 200 plus, so this is a complex parameter, 200 plus J500 and star and delta connections so directly given and the ratings have been given. Okay. Now just to go through the content what I am going to deliver now. How can we determine the per unit impedances, or how can we obtain the per unit impedance diagram for this particular? Everything is same except the load. Okay, now I am going to explain each and every point, but not in detail. Why? Because already you know better than me. Why? Because we have solved so many problems, 2 to 3 problems in the session. So that's why I think you will get some idea. Now, right. So the first and foremost point is we need to choose proper base values for the entire power system, which will gives you less number of conversions. So always the conversions are depends. I mean, always conversions are applicable to only these two transformers. Why? Because these two voltages are very, very important. We must select the same voltages. Okay. So that is the common operating voltage of the transmission line. So that's why in order to avoid that many number of transformations, I am going to choose that. So the base MVA is equal to 20 MVA base values. So instead of 11 kV, now I am going to consider the base kV as 12.5 kV. So why? Because if you are considering 12.5 kV, you need not convert the ratings of all the sessions. Suppose if you are choosing 11 kV, okay, so if the base value is 11 kV, now what is the corresponding secondary voltage? So the first conversion is at this point. Similarly, for the same voltage, what is the secondary voltage of this one? So secondary transformation. Third one is this one, and fourth one is this one. So if you choose 11 kV as the base values, suppose if I am choosing 12.5, obviously you need not convert this one, and again you need not convert this one. If this is not changed, obviously this is also not going to be changed. Why? Because 11 kV is the operating voltage of the motor section as well as load section. Okay, so that will gives you less number of conversions if we choose 12.5 kV as the base values, right? Now I'm selecting the base values of the entire system are given by are given by 20 MVA and 12.5 kV. Now see here, so this I'm obtaining it as xg1 new, xg1 new. So xg1 new is equal to old per unit. So what is the old per unit value? 0.15 multiplied by what is MVA base new? New is equal to 20. What is MVA base old? 20 multiplied by what is kV base old? So kV base old is equal to 11 kV, that have been already mentioned. What is kV base new? We have chosen the base value as 12.5 kV, right? See how simple it is. Once if you learn the concept and if you listen the concept, obviously it is very easy to solve the problems in this particular chapter number 1 per unit. So this is very important and very easy also. Okay, the only complexity is choosing the right values of the base value for the entire system. Okay, that is the only difficult part, and except that remaining are very easy. Now what is the value? 0.15 multiplied by 20. So this is this and this gets cancelled, and you will have 11 by 20 to 12.5. So if you solve this, you can get 0.116 per unit. Right, 0.116 per unit. So we have completed the per unit impedance are the reactance of generator 1. So after that generator 1, you will have the transformer section XT1 transformer. So the old per unit value is given by 0.1 multiplied by what is MVA base new and MVA base old. So MVA base new is equal to 20. What is MVA base old? MVA base old is equal to 25 multiplied by MVA base new is equal to MVA base. So KV base old. So what is the KV base old? KV base old. So always try to select the primary voltage. Please do remember. So 12.5 and 12.5. So if you want to choose the secondary voltage, see, I'm not going to say that you cannot or you will not consider the secondary voltage of the transformer while determining the per unit new per unit value of the transformer. See, I'm not going to say that. So that is up to you. If you are considering the primary voltage, you can directly consider that. Or if you want to choose the secondary voltage, obviously you will get this one. So 12.5 and 12.5 whole square. Now what's the value? So this and this gets cancelled. You will have 0.08 per unit. 0.0 per unit, 8 per unit. Now the next one is transmission line section. See, you need to follow step by step. You need to follow step by step process, right? Now XTR. So for the transmission line section, you have been not given the per unit value. So instead of that, he has given or he has mentioned the impedance of the transmission line. So that is the actual value. So we know that transmission line per unit reactance is equal to actual value by base value. You just forget about actual value for some time. Why? Because actual value is directly mentioned in the problem itself. Okay. Now, how can we obtain the base value? So base value is equal to base. So what is the operating voltage? What is the operating voltage? So the operating voltage of the transmission line is 132 square. Okay. 132 kV base whole square divided by MVA base. Now kV base is equal to 1,000. Sir, how can we obtain 132 square is the voltage? So that is the corresponding voltage which is produced with respect to 12.5 kV on the primary side of the first transformer. See, the 132 kV is the corresponding secondary voltage with respect to 12.5 kV. Okay, so that's why we have taken the base value is equal to kV base square divided by MVA base. So 132 square divided by 20. Now what is the voltage? So if you consider that one, obviously you will get 871.2 ohms. 871.2 ohms. Now that is the base value, right? So how can we obtain now? How can we obtain the actual, per unit value of the transmission line? Already you know that 200 plus, this is the actual value. 200 plus, 200 plus J500, 200 plus J500 divided by 871.2. So individually, you need to take the ratio between 200 by 871.2 and 500 by 871.2. Obviously, you will get 0.229. 0.229. See, everything is, you know everything. There is nothing difficulty in this to understand this problem. We have solved so many problems. I think you will get some idea. So up to this, you need not worry about much. This is per unit. So 0.229 plus J 0.574 per unit value. So we have determined the per unit impedances up to this one. Now the next one is transformer T2. Now the next one is transfer. See, we are going to determine the per unit impedances or reactances of individual component in this direction. See, first one is generator section, second one is the transformer section, third one is transmission line section. Now we are going to see the next one. So this can be determined, or this can be denoted with XT2 per unit. So the old per unit is equal to 0.1. Now what is the new per unit value or the new base value? So new base is equal to 20, MVA base new is equal to 20, and MVA base old is also equal to 20. Now what is the voltage, corresponding voltage? What is the corresponding voltage? So even though if you consider 132, now you can also consider the same 132 kV as a base value of base kV of old and new. Now what you will get? So just upon simplification of all these things, you will get only 0.1 per unit. 0.1 per unit. So with this, we have determined the per unit impedance or the reactance of transformer T2 also. Next, motor. So this is also exactly similar to that of the previous case. So this I can denote it with XM, which is equal to 0.15 multiplied by what is MVA base new. So MVA base new is equal to 20 MVA base nu is equal to 20. Sorry, okay. Nu by old MVA base, that is equal to 15 multiplied by KV base old. KV base old is equal to 11 kV. Okay, KV base is old is equal to 11 kV, right? Now, now tell me, what is the KV base new? So most of the students are failed while choosing this particular section, or while determining the per unit value of this particular section. Why? Because now I will tell you where there is a chance for failing to determine the per unit value of this particular one. See, in this case also, in this case also, the kV base old is equal to 11, kV base new is also equal to 11. Why? Because now I'm going to tell you about why both the values are equal. Why? Because now you see here, with respect to 12.5, this transformer will produce a voltage of 132 kV. Now with respect to this 132 kV, 11 kV is the corresponding voltage which is produced at the secondary of this one. That means indirectly this is related to this one. So that's why you need not consider that one. You need not consider again 12.5. So that's why the same voltage. So that is the advantage of choosing 12.5 kV. So initially at the beginning of this problem, I told you that. So the base value which will gives you the less number of conversions, then only you can consider that one. How can we choose that will gives you the less number of conversions? Why? Because the problem directly in by seeing the transformer ratings, you can directly mention that 12.5. If you choose 12.5, so that will gives you the less number of conversions. Why? Because you need not to convert the secondary voltage. Again, you need not determine the secondary voltage of the secondary transformer. Why? Because that is a common operating voltage for the motor section as well as the load section. So for motor section it is 11 kV, and for the load section is also it is equal to 11 kV. So that's why kV base new is equal to kV base old in this particular section. So what is the voltage here? So obviously you will have 0.2 per unit. Okay, so this 15 and this 15 gets cancelled, and you will have 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2 means, okay, so you will get 0.2 per unit. So with this, the motor section is also gets completed. Now we are moving to the very important point, that is how can we proceed if the load is also there? How can we obtain the per unit value of that particular component if the load is present, or if you want to consider the load also? So till now you are not going to see this type of cases. Why? Because in the problem itself, we have sometimes you have mentioned that you consider, you neglect that load, etc., etc. Now we are going to determine how to proceed if this particular single line diagram consists of a load section. Now you carefully watch this. So given that load is equal to, please maintain a separate notebook. Try to note down the contents what I am going to deliver on this session. So load is equal to 5 MVA. 5 MVA, and the load voltage is equal to 11 kV at 0.85 power factor lagging. 0.85 power factor lagging. Okay, now you see here, so we will have real power, reactive power, and complex power. So we all know that S is equal to P plus JQ. I think you will have a better idea. So what is P and what is Q? So P is real power and Q is reactive power. Now the units for this S is MVA. Complex power is always represented in terms of MVA. Now this is in terms of megawatts. I think you will have power angle, power triangle. Power triangle is also there. So this is MVAR. MVAR. Now you see here. So this is megawatts. This is power triangle. So this is megawatts and this is MVAR. So if you consider this one, you will have MVA. So I think in the machines you will have this type of terminologies. So basically S is a complex parameter that can be obtained by taking the real power and reactive power P plus JQ. Please do remember all these formula. So S is equal to P plus JQ. So S is equal to P plus JQ. Okay. Now, how can we obtain power P? So this is so given the complex. S value is given. Complex power. So S is equal to 5 MVA. S is equal to 5 MVA. Now from this we can also obtain. From this we can also obtain P. So power P is equal to 5 S into 0.8. So just now I draw the power triangle. So in that power triangle, which is right angled at this one. So please make a note here. Now this is power triangle. So this is theta. So which is right angled at this. Now this is megawatts, and this is MVA, and now this is MVAR. Okay. So megawatt is equal to adjacent side. So cos theta into MVA. Opposite side is MVA here. So MVA. Now this is adjacent side. So MVA is 5 and cos theta is equal to 0.8. So in this way we are going to obtain P. So once if you know S and if you know P, it is also easy to obtain Q also, right? Now let us see how we are going to determine the value of Q also. So 5 into 0.8 you will have 4, right? Now what about Q? So if you take the magnitude on both sides, you will get S square is equal to P square minus Q square. Is it not? Right. P square plus Q square, not minus. So P square plus Q square. Now Q is equal to, so from this you can obtain 5 square, 25 minus 4 square, 16. So you will have 9. So Q square is equal to 9 means Q is equal to 3. So 3 MVAR. MVAR. Now this is 4 megawatts. Now we already know that S is equal to we already know that. See, all these relations are already you have seen in your transmission and distribution or machines, whatever it may be. Already we have covered all these topics. Okay, there is nothing new in it. So S is equal to, basically we know that S is equal to V into I conjugate, but instead of, either you need to consider this directly or you can also have this one. S conjugate is equal to V conjugate multiplied by I. So I conjugate whole conjugate. Okay, in that particular case, you need to follow that one. So in this I, and then in this expression, I am going to substitute I is equal to V by Z here. We already know that V is equal to IZ. So from this, we can reduce this expression for Z. Z is equal to V by I. So all, you can also consider this as I is equal to V by Z. So V into V conjugate, you can directly write down this as V square by Z. V square by Z. Now this is load impedance ZL. So this is S conjugate. Now from this ZL is equal to, so these are the steps you must know before going to determine the per unit value of the load section. So V square by S conjugate. S conjugate. So finally we have deduced that load impedance is equal to V square by S conjugate, right? Now you see here, so ZL is equal to V. What is the voltage? So the operating voltage of the load section is 11. So that's why you directly consider that 11 square divided by S conjugate. S is equal to, just now we have seen that S is equal to P plus JQ, right? P plus JQ. Now, what is the conjugate of this one? P minus JQ. Now, what is P here? P is equal to 4 minus JQ means J3. Okay, just you have used the calculators. Now express this value in terms of polar coordinates, and from that polar coordinates you can also obtain the rectangular coordinates. So upon simplification, I'm going to obtain the value as 19.36 plus J 14.52. Now with this we have obtained. So now please see here. This is the value. What is the value? Actual value of the load section. Actual value of the load section. This should be in terms of ohms. Actual value of the load section. But we need to obtain the per unit value. So how can we obtain the per unit value for this? How can we obtain the per unit value for this? So actual value by base value. Actual value by base value. Okay. So this is the actual value. Please make a note this. Now I am going to determine the per unit base value also. So with all these values, we have determined the actual value. Why? Because he has not mentioned the actual value in the problem itself, and we, by using the ratings of all the components and the of the load section, now we are going to determine the base value. So what is the base voltage? I mean base value. How can we obtain the base value? So base value can be obtained by considering the kV base square divided by so Z base is equal to kV base square divided by MVA base. Now what is kV base here? So 11 square divided by 20. Now what is the value you are getting? 6.05. So once if we obtain this one, Z per unit is equal to ZL per unit. ZL per unit is equal to, the actual value is 19.36 plus J 14.52 divided by 6.05. Now you determine what is the value of this. So with this, we have covered the last case of this per unit problems also. Now this is the way you need to follow if you have been given the load component. Okay, the load calculations are somewhat different from the earlier previous calculations. So in this case only, we are going to obtain S, and we need to obtain ZL the value, which is equal to V square by S conjugate. So in order to obtain the value of S, you must have the information regarding the real power and reactive power. So etc. etc. So with this, the problem has not been completed yet. Now we are going to draw the per unit impedance diagram by substituting all the values. Now you please see here how I am going to draw the per unit impedance diagram by considering all these values. Now first the generator section. Now the next one is transformer section, transmission line section, transformer 2 section. Now this is next one is this one. Okay, so generator section contains source and reactance. Now the transformer 1 is directly a reactance. Transformer transmission line is also a reactance, and after that you will have transformer T2, and this is the motor section and this is the load section. See why I have taken the resistance in the load section? Why? Because the load value is, you will get an impedance R plus JX, R plus JX. So in that case, you are also having the R value. So that's why we are going to consider this one. Now this is J 0.116. Now this is J 0.08. Now this is J 0.229 plus J, sorry, J 0.574 J 0.1, this is J 0.2, this is J 2.4, and this is 3.4. So by substituting all the reactances in the per unit impedance diagram, your problem will be completed. Okay, now this is about the another type of problem that we are going to have in this per unit representations. Okay, if you have any doubts, you please raise your doubts. So the next topic will be continued in the next class, that is at 12 noon today. So please try to join the session also. Okay, if you are having any doubts, you please raise your doubts, or else I shall wind up the session. Okay, that's all for today. So again, we will cover some more topics in the next 12 hours. Thank you.